In recent years, the United States has witnessed an alarming number of school shootings. The tragic events have left families devastated and communities in shock. Today, we will delve into the cases of 5 dangerous school shooters who were sentenced to life in prison. We will examine their reactions in court, where they learned the fate of spending the rest of their lives behind bars. From the Parkland shooter, Nikolas Cruz, to the Santa Fe High School shooter, Dimitrios Pagourtsidis, these cases serve as a reminder of the devastating consequences of school shootings. Join us as we explore the emotional reactions of these dangerous individuals and reflect on the impact of their actions. Number 1. Caleb Sharp. Caleb Sharp was sentenced to 40 years in prison for the Freeman High School shooting in Washington State. The Spokane County Superior Court Judge, Michael Price, ruled that Sharp will have to go before a sentencing review board prior to his release, and the board will evaluate Sharp's likelihood to reoffend and his level of rehabilitation. With credit for time served, it will be 35 years before he can request release. Sharp had 30 days to appeal the sentence, but there was little reaction in the courtroom when Price announced the sentence. After more than an hour of explaining the legal context for his ruling, the defendant, Caleb Sharp, was found guilty as charged. During the hearing, the surveillance video of the Freeman High School shooting was played, and Amy Strahan, the mother of one of the victims, watched the screen determinedly. Sharp didn't react to the video while his parents seated behind him closed their eyes. Sharp apologized publicly for the first time, saying, "There's only really one thing that I can say, and that is I'm sorry." He apologized to Strahan, the girls he attacked, and the entire community. He added that he spends a lot of time thinking about what exactly he would say, and now that he's here, he can see that there's only one thing he can say, and that's how sorry he is. However, Strahan and the 3 girls who were injured, along with dozens of community members, asked Price to hand down the maximum sentence allowed by law, nearly 46 years to life in prison. Brooke Foley, Sharp's public defender, argued that because of his age and immaturity at the time of the shooting, Sharp should be considered a youthful offender, giving Price the discretion to sentence him below the standard range. Foley asked for a 20-year fixed sentence, but it seems the judge did not agree with that in this case. Sharp will now serve 40 years in prison for his actions. It's important to remember that his actions caused harm to innocent individuals and traumatized the entire community. We should all take responsibility for our actions and strive to make the world a safer and more compassionate place. Number 2. TJ Lane. TJ Lane, the Ohio teenager who brought terror to Chardon High School in 2012. Lane was only 17 years old when he opened fire inside the school cafeteria, killing 3 students and injuring 3 others. Lane was not a student at Chardon High School, but his sister was. On the day of the shooting, he was waiting for a bus to Lake Academy, an alternative high school he attended. He had brought his uncle's .22 caliber pistol and a knife with him. During the sentencing, Lane wore a white t-shirt with the word killer written across it in capital letters. He smiled, cursed, and gestured obscenely as the victims' families gave their statements. He was unremorseful and showed no sympathy for his actions. The victims' families were given the opportunity to address the court, and they did not hold back. They called Lane repulsive, wished him an extremely slow and torturous end, and said he should be locked away like a criminal. They described how Lane's actions had destroyed their lives and left them with a pain that would never go away. Lane remained stone-faced during these statements and did not acknowledge the victims' families. When he was given the opportunity to address the court, he dismissed his lawyer's advice and made a brief, vulgar statement, showing the victims' families the middle finger. This caused gasps and tears in the court. Despite Lane's lack of remorse, the judge handed down 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Lane smiled and nodded as the sentence was read. The shooting at Chardon High School was a tragic event that shook the community to its core. The actions of one individual caused irreparable damage and pain to so many people. It serves as a reminder that we must always be vigilant and take steps to prevent these types of senseless acts from happening again. Number 3. Devin Erickson. Devin Erickson, a former student at STEM School Highlands Ranch, to life in prison without parole for his role in the 2019 shooting that took the life of 1 teenager and injured 8 others. Erickson, now 20, was convicted of 46 charges, including first-degree murder in the passing of Kendrick Castillo, an 18-year-old senior hailed as a hero for trying to stop the attack on a classroom. Along with fellow student Alec McKinney, Erickson entered a classroom of students sitting in the dark as they watched a movie at the end of their senior year. The 2 entered through separate doors to maximize the number of students they could fatally harm. McKinney told investigators that he planned the attack for weeks and intended to target classmates who repeatedly mocked him because he was transgender. Despite this, Erickson was held responsible for the deadly act, with Judge Teresa Michelle Slade adding hundreds of years of prison time to Eric's life sentence for multiple charges and counts. During the hearing, survivors shared their pain, trauma, and disruption to their lives. Judge Slade addressed Erickson directly, stating that he had shown no remorse and had failed to help a devastated community understand his actions. Erickson displayed virtually no emotion throughout the hearing, leaving a gaping hole for the community seeking at least some sense of closure. While McKinney, who was 16 at the time of the shooting, was also sentenced to life in prison, he could become eligible for parole after about 20 years under a program for juvenile offenders. Judge Slade recounted how the shooting had devastated not only those at the school and their families, but untold numbers of people beyond the suburban community where the school is located. She said, "I find that these two pieces of evidence are fake, that they are illegitimate, and he's guilty of everything." Erickson never tried to explain his actions, leaving many questions unanswered. His voice broke when the judge asked if he wanted to speak, but he declined. Judge Slade concluded, "I don't think there's anything I can say to you, Mr. Erickson, that would make any difference." Number 4. Sky Bush. Sky Bush, a Crystal River man who fired a gunshot through a door and injured a Forest High School student. Bush recently pleaded no contest to his charges and was sentenced to a 30-year prison term. The incident occurred when Bush, who was not a student at the school, entered the school with a gun and fired a shot through a door, injuring a 17-year-old male student. The school immediately went into lockdown, and Bush was apprehended by law enforcement shortly thereafter. In an interview with a newspaper, Bush claimed that he had felt an adrenaline rush before the incident, but quickly lost his nerve and was unable to continue with his plan. Bush was sentenced by a circuit judge, who ordered that he serve a minimum of 25 years behind bars and pay more than $14,000 in restitution to the victim. In addition to his prison term, Bush was also ordered to undergo a mental health evaluation and cannot have contact with the victim or visit any public schools. He also cannot own any weapons and must serve 30 years of probation after his release. During his sentencing hearing, Bush asked the judge if he could receive a lighter sentence, but the judge denied his request for a downward departure. Bush later expressed remorse for his actions, stating that he put down the gun because he felt sorry for what he had done. He also admitted to spending most of his time alone in his room, which may have contributed to his behavior. Number 5. Nikolas Cruz. In February 2018, 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz committed one of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history, killing 17 people at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Cruz was charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder and 17 counts of attempted murder. In March 2018, Cruz appeared in court and faced the families of the victims. Many of them spoke out against him, expressing their anger and sorrow at his actions. Cruz was unresponsive and showed little remorse during the proceedings. Cruz's trial was delayed due to his defense team's effort to avoid the death penalty. And in August 2020, he announced that he would plead guilty in exchange for a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. In July 2021, he was officially sentenced to life in prison. For our video, we will explore the reactions of 5 other dangerous school shooters who were also sentenced to life in prison. We will examine their behavior in court and their responses to their sentences. Some may show remorse for their actions and express regret, while others remain defiant and unapologetic. We will analyze their body language and expressions, as well as the statements they make. Through their stories, we hope to shed light on the devastating effect of school shootings and the long-lasting impact they have on families, communities, and the nation as a whole. We also hope to bring attention to the importance of addressing mental health and preventing these tragedies from happening in the first place. Thank you for watching this video on 5 dangerous school shooters reacting to serving life in prison. We hope this has shed some light on the consequences of committing such heinous acts and the impact they have on families, communities, and society as a whole. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content.